El Centro, California. And, we've been talking about COVID-19, updating information, and we've been doing that for the past many weeks, but we're going to do a little bit of a change today. We're going to be talking about the Niland Fire recovery efforts. And with us on the phone today, it's Imperial County Chief Executive Officer Tony Rouhotas and Deputy CEO Esperanza Colio-Warren. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Esperanza.
Good morning, Sunshine.
Good morning.
Okay. Now, if it's not one thing, it's another, right? The COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, and by the way, West Nile virus has popped up. Murder hornets are all over the place. Sahara dust storms. Oh, and there's a coin shortage. And, it's summer in the Imperial Valley. But a couple of weeks ago, a devastating fire in the township of Niland. And took out some 40 structures, left a lot of people homeless. The county has had to react to that issue as well. So what is going on?
Yes, you're right. About a little over 2 weeks ago, there was a devastating fire that was wind-driven up in the Niland Township that did, started on one side of the Highway 111 and actually moved across, taking out several dozen structures. So it's a task. Niland is a community that has been a stronghold for Imperial County. It started off early off as where the train depot and everything was located, and was kind of the center of attraction at one time of Imperial County. But as the fire moved through, it took out just a great deal of the residents up there, and we've had to put a team together. We had the first response was did everything they could. There was a lot of variables with the wind and put it in play, and a lot of people lost their homes, which is very unfortunate. And during these troubling times already, we need to help those that are in need. And we've put a team together and assembled them and opened up the local assistance center and just kind of take the bull by the horns and start getting some assistance to these people. And Esperanza's kind of leading that charge in Niland with a group of nonprofits and other departments. And she'll kind of give you a rundown of all the services that have been made available to the people in need. So I'll turn it over to her. Okay, and the assistance center originally set up at Calipatria High School, is that where it still is?
Yes, sir. Actually, we had it open for almost 2 weeks, and then we closed it for a few days. And today we're going to be open from 10 to 5 p.m. So we are encouraging those families that were affected by the fires to show up and to let us know what needs they have. The facility is on the auditorium of the school. And we have agencies like Campesinos Unidos, Comité Cívico del Valle, Clínicas de Salud del Pueblo, and the Family Restore Center. In addition to that, we have several departments from the county, the Workforce and Economic Development, Social Services Department, and the Public Administrator as well. All of those agencies are providing hotel vouchers, food vouchers, financial assistance. They're paying their bills, the utility bills that they were pending to pay. Clínicas de Salud del Pueblo actually sends us a decision to assist the families where their basic needs. For example, there were some persons, they had this machine to test their blood or to check their blood pressure, and they lost it. So Clínicas de Salud del Pueblo was there with a physician and a nurse, so they can assist those families as well. So it has been a very good response from the nonprofit organizations as well as the county employees. And you cannot expect less when you see your board of supervisor and your CEO in the middle of the fire, first responders, the fire department, and all the cities that are around responding to the emergency. So it is expected that we all come together, and I'm very grateful to see that.
Well, that is typical of the Valley, that we're somewhat isolated geographically. I've pointed out before, you cannot get further away from Sacramento and still be in the state of California than we are here in Imperial County. And we have learned if it's going to get done, we're going to do it. Now, there were some 40 structures that were destroyed. And despite the efforts of firefighters from, San Diego, Yuma, and all over the Imperial Valley that did everything they possibly could to protect the township, cleanup, that's got to be a big issue.
It is. Actually, today, they just began the hazardous waste and asbestos removal. It's beginning today, and after that, there will be the cleanups, the actual cleanups of the properties.
Okay, and Niland, as Chief Rouhotas pointed out, flowing wells was the drop-off point for the railroad back at the turn of the 20th century. And Niland, some of the historic buildings and structures, some of the oldest in the Imperial Valley. So I know you're going to have issues with some of that, right?
Yeah, so and a lot of people don't recognize that about Niland, is that was the main train depot that came into Imperial County, and people traveled from the train throughout. Some of those historical buildings that you mentioned, those were not damaged in the fire. The majority of the damage occurred to some abandoned structures, but more was the habited structures, and that's really the focus. What Esperanza mentioned is this morning at 6 o'clock, we started sending teams in and are doing the asbestos inspections, and those will be done, if not today, tomorrow, and that's on the 41 properties that were involved. After the results and all the backup come on that, the household hazardous materials, all the paint thinners, oil, acetylene tanks, propane tanks, the contract's already been done, and there will be a removal process for that. We've worked with a company that has local ties to assist us with getting that done. So what we're trying to do is prepare all the properties immediately. And Jeff Lamore and George Perez from Environmental Health, Public Health Department are spearheading the oversight on that, and they've already worked on a plan to fast track this through as soon as possible. And right after we get that done with all the inspections, then we can start working with the contractor to do the cleanup company. Okay,
now, a lot of people in Imperial Valley stepped up, and the assistance center, I know, was overwhelmed with donations. And, it may be out of the goodness of your heart, but not necessarily what people need. What can people do that will help?
There are two different locations at the Cali Patria School. One was the LAC, which is the Local Assistance Center, and that was to provide hotel vouchers, medical assistance, and other services that the community needs. The Family Resource Center, which is next door, was the one that was receiving donations, and still receiving donations, and they were providing food and clothes to the families, basic needs, hygiene needs like toothpaste and shampoo and everything else, and that is being managed by the Family Resource Center. So there are actually two buildings next to each other, and each one of us have a different activity.
Okay.
Yes, we were receiving the families. We have identified so far 31 families with about 75 persons total. But we have a strong belief, based on the location of the places that burned down, that there are other individuals that have not come to the LAC. They might feel that there's no assistance for them. And so I'm really encouraging those to come to us, and so that we can take their names and find out what their needs are so that we can provide that assistance.
Okay, and if a citizen would like to help with a donation, what would you suggest?
They need to go to the Family Resource Center, which is located at 501 West Main Street, Cali Patria. And the donation has to be, the checks has to be made to Cali Patria Unified School District, Niland Fire Fund. And that's going to be no later than July 31st, 2020.
Okay. And with cash, as opposed to clothing or household items, you can meet the direct and accurate needs of people that have been displaced.
That is correct. They have received an overwhelming assistance of clothes. So I don't think they need more clothes, but they do need other items as well.
Okay.
And, yes, sir.
Very good. And this is an ongoing effort, and it's going to be a little bit of time before things are addressed. Okay, as far as housing, a lot of people displaced. How have you been able to help with housing these folks?
Temporarily, they're right now in different hotels, mostly in the Calipatria Hotel, with hotel vouchers from different agencies. But we're expecting to receive some travel trailers. We don't know for sure yet, but the CEO and some other agencies are coordinating that effort to secure those travel trailers for temporary relocation while we're looking for the long-term housing. And long-term housing takes a little bit longer because the properties have to be completely cleaned up and also has the utilities accessible as well. And since everything is gone, so we have to start all over.
Okay. Did we miss anything?
No, Carroll, but you did bring up something. How about Imperial County always comes together, and I'm super proud of the county employees that stepped up and did what they did, not just from the first responders and law enforcement during the evacuation and the actual initial response, because they did everything within their power and really did. I'm proud of those guys, but I'm proud of our community because we had a lot of people really step up. I know I have some friends, Joel Gonzalez over at Desert RV. I know he opened up right away and took trailers of donations up to the people affected, and bottled water, clothing, toiletries, and such, and did distribution and used his business to be that collection site. So that's just a small thoughts of but with big hearts that was put forward. Maria Nava Froelich up in Calipat has also been a great assistance. We teamed up with our social economic staff, Luis Olmedo, for outreach, and it's just kind of all inclusive. This isn't about the county, it's about the community, and it's just it makes you super proud when you see everybody step up and really put their best foot forward for the betterment of the entire community, and it was just a proud moment.
Okay. We appreciate the visit today, and we've been visiting with Imperial County Chief Executive Officer Tony Rouhotas and Deputy CEO Esperanza Colio-Warren. Esperanza, it wasn't as bad as you thought, huh?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, and you've got the information you need to assist there.
Coming up, another great mix of oldies.
12:30.